Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Sam again, and with us is Rob. How's it going, Rob?
Going good, Sam. How you doing?
I'm doing well, especially I am surprised now that I won, so I'm extremely well. I was honestly, waiting for the worst, when the scores came out. So I am extremely happy, Rob, that I won like I did.
Yeah, well, Sam, I won't lay down for you. I guess this is my only chance to lay down for you this year, so I went ahead and spread them eagle, man.
Thanks, Rob. And man, a lot of goose eggs just from our star players, we'll get to that when we talk about studs and duds. Before we get to the matchups, Rob, did you have any surprises from week one for our from our league here?
Well, yeah, sure, and most of those we'll talk about in our recaps of these games here, naming off our, I guess the forum we talked about, Sam, is we're going to name a stud and a pud in each contest there, and kind of a little overall. Try to move pretty quick. Probably my only surprise from the week is what a total idiot I have turned into from December of last year to September of this year. Apparently, I now know nothing about football, so...
81 points, lowest score. Yes, I wasn't the lowest score.
No, actually, I think you were the third lowest score. I think even Slink Poyd came in below you. So there was a couple teams to beat this week, Sam.
Okay, perfect. All right, Rob. Great, we have a lot to talk about. So, all right, Rob, let's talk about our first matchup: Nasty Habit versus Wolfpack.
Well, first of all, let's go with the commissioner. Last week, I think I went 1-7 on predictions, and fortuitously, we will not be predicting games until it actually matters. We have something to talk about in the upcoming weeks going forward, because if this was Vegas, I would have had to sell my home and all plasma. So, Nasty Habits, yeah, I missed the boat on that one, apparently, but, in all reality, not really. I do believe we said very clearly that when Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson go off,
yep,
he's going to have some nice weeks.
We did say that, yes.
Had a real easy matchup at home last week against the New York Giants. Should have had some success. Now, let's see how that plays out on the road this week going down to Carolina. It could be quite a different story. But, Nasty Habits, explosion. Started right off with Marshawn Lynch with 34 on Thursday night. And a lot of viable studs in this game. Obviously, you see Stafford, 45 points, Johnson, 50 points. But in all reality, my stud of this game was Marshawn Lynch. I don't know if that was a great performance by him or a disgusting performance by Green Bay or both. They were literally turning sideways on tackles. That was some embarrassing football to start off the season there. So I'm going to give my stud of that game to Marshawn Lynch. That was a little unexpected there with Russell Wilson having a nice game too. And, you look at his team, in all reality, it's, Stafford and Johnson, and he did get some good success from Wilson and Lynch, but, after that, it's kind of a graveyard, and that's going to be what could be his undoing this year. Jumping over to Wolfpack there, you could probably just take the rest of this over with Romo, and we are going to have our overall stud of the week and overall putt of the week, and, not to give anything away, but, I might have mine there. So we'll save on him. LaShawn McCoy, total disappointment for their drafters this week. I'm sure everybody enjoyed the 49-yard touchdown by Darren Sproles instead of McCoy. Seemed like they were trying to keep him for better things. Overall, not a great week. Monty Ball had a good game, 17. It's going to be pretty standard for him this year. Jeremy Maclin came through real nice. T.Y. Hilton went absolutely AWOL in that Sunday night game. And Wolfpack, he's going to have better days ahead. But this was Romo and Cutler playing like that, especially at home. Cutler, what was that against the Bills? Yeah, I think everybody expects a little more. Not a good week for the Wolfpack.
Yeah. Nasty Habit surprised me too. I was not expecting him to do that. I didn't want to say it, but I thought he had a bad draft, like worse than me, believe it or not, Rob. And for him to pull that off, I am humbled. I eat a humble pie for Nasty Habits.
It's tough out of that one situation. It's not uncommon to take like a quarterback and a wide receiver from the same team. Usually, you take like a Golden Tate there. There's just so much that can go wrong with it, and you get into bad weeks, bye weeks, things like that. But it's Yeah, you could do a lot worse than Stafford and Johnson, even though Stafford is always a bad sneeze away from being out for 6 weeks. So
yeah. All right, cool. Let's go on over to our next matchup: Flink Poyd versus Ball So Hard.
Yeah, this not a hell of a lot to talk about this game. Obviously, golly, I have to find a stud in this game. Let's see. Antonio Brown's been consistent, hell, Cordarrelle Patterson, Minnesota. As long as he keeps getting 69-yard end arounds, which are pretty common, in 69 on an end around. Wow, that's, I guess he'll just be rolling right along. Alshon Jeffrey, let's see how serious the injury is. Eddie Lacy was a disgrace, but
concussion.
Not an overly exciting performance by Ball So Hard. He basically, he lives off Stafford there. One of my predictions I did think I got right, even though I didn't quite realize the Chiefs' offensive line was that bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Jamal Charles, it's going to be a long year.
Hey, your bold prediction, was on point so far.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm like one of 4 people outside of the state of Missouri that actually bothers to pay attention to Kansas City Chief football. I don't know why any sane person would. They're working their way to the irrelevance of the Oakland Raiders, even though that's a pretty long step there.
Yeah.
But you just that line's a mess.
Yeah. What do you think about New England? I read your email the other day about how it's all hype, and they lost to Miami. I think you have it's justified that you think they're just all hype, right?
Well, yeah, my theory there is that they always, it's going to be Green Bay versus New England this year. And, really, why is it going to be Green Bay versus New England? Of course it's not going to be Green Bay versus New England. Tom Brady's about 50 now, right? And, seriously, in that game, dude, that team they were winded by halftime. That offensive line is just as bad as the Chiefs. Maybe not quite to that level, but they seriously struggled against Miami. And, that rebuilt defense, let's see if it comes together, but there wasn't a heck of a lot there. When you're getting carved up by Ryan Tannehill, you can't feel too good about yourself.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our next matchup, Lodi Burgers versus Bruin Maniacs, and this is a high-scoring matchup right here.
Absolutely. This is your game of the week, and, I'm just completely disgusted with Mr. Senior Baldus Bruni there, he gets one chance this year, and he's given up to the boys on bragging rights. It's a hell of a performance by Lodi Burgers. This guy's got a good team, especially when Matt Ryan's throwing for 900 yards. I kind of lost track.
Yeah.
Obviously, probably the stud right there. Him or Thomas out of Denver. The 3 touchdowns was pretty nice too in the 100-yard game right there. He just had an awful lot going.
Yeah, and Julius Thomas last year as a rookie, his first game also, game week 1, he also had 3 touchdowns. So who would have thought 2 years in a row? Same thing. So,
the funny thing about this game, though, is you look at all these scores, and what it really comes down to is the game breaker might have been that last-minute touchdown by A.J. Green. There's 34 points right there. And he's probably got enough to, he obviously has enough to cover him after that. He won by 47 points. But, he basically gets 34 points in the last couple minutes of a football game there from A.J. Green. So
yeah, that was... Matty Ice could be back. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I think, playing against New Orleans, those games are either strangely 13-10 games or games like that. Yeah, sure he'll be back. And that defense isn't very good, so he's going to be throwing the ball quite a bit. But, we'll see. Lack of a running game there, teams might eventually learn to cover that a little bit better. A little disappointed by New Orleans.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our PUD game of the week, you and I.
Well, let's not waste too much time with this.
Yeah.
Say that, Sam, my opinion here is if you take, basically I got beat by Alan Hearn's first quarter against Philadelphia. I didn't quite think it was possible for a home team to overlook a team in their home opener, but in week 1 there. But, they did, and they slept on him in the first quarter. I hadn't even gotten out of bed yet. I was kind of just lounging there, and I'm going, Jesus Christ, great last second change. I'm thinking this guy's not going to be worth 40 points a week every week.
Nah.
That basically took me down. that in my stupidity. The difference being, Sam, I was in matchup hell last week, and I think I left about 100 points sitting on the bench there. I think 87 might be about your average point there. Take away Hearns and give Rodgers a little more, and Arian Foster looked good for a week though.
Yeah, and without a touchdown, so we'll see if he can keep up, throughout the season.
How many carries did Sankey get there, Sam, for you?
Hey, that's why I didn't start him.
Uh-oh.
I'm stashing him, Rob. Hey, I'm stashing him.
Ben Tate, man, 6 weeks, right?
Oh my God, yeah, Tate, come on. I was high on him, but
I don't know. That game, I just if I had a hangover from my championship season, that performance on this week was certainly shook me out of it. I'm kind of embarrassed. That was some pretty poor coaching by myself this week.
Well, I'm glad you had the hangover this week. I mean, against me, Rob.
Well, we got to give you a win, Sam. You're a good guy. You're a good-time champion.
Thank you.
Sometimes as a commissioner, you got to sacrifice for that.
Hey, you're a good guy, Commissioner Rob. All right,
was there a stud of the week in that game, by the way? I guess we'll give Dallin Hearns.
Hearns, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, because I knew because Cecil Shorts was out, and I said, okay, perfect. Let's start Hearns. So that's cool. But yeah, enough about that PUD game. Let's go into the next game, next matchup, Miami Sharks versus New Denver.
Yeah, this is a hell of a game right here. We were running, 141. Hell, he would have beat you and me about combined. Not quite. I'm not that bad at math, but New Denver, another team that I was a little on the fence on there, but Andrew Luck, we give him the stud of the week there for that game. We already talked about Marshawn Lynch earlier, but I mean, you mix up Andrew Luck, Marshawn Lynch, and Julius Thomas in one game. You're in week one there. You're going to have some pretty good success. It looked good.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson didn't do much. I mean, that's kind of odd. I mean, they won by about 50 points, if I'm not mistaken. You think it would have gotten some more garbage time, but I guess they found his replacement in Cordarrelle Patterson there, so. It's
Patterson 3 carries for 97 yards.
Oh yeah, gosh, man, I think that's more than my running backs combined there. But hell, I mean, Miami Sharks had a nice week too. That's just Le'Veon Bell. Showed up, looked pretty good there. To be honest with you.
Yeah,
and he had a nice week. Just not enough. Wrong matchup. Should have been playing me or you. Huh?
Yeah, it sucks when you score 140 and then you lose.
Yeah, well,
matchups.
I mean, hey, we put in the bad beat award for a reason. I don't think 140 is going to be anybody's going to be winning that with that $80 at the end of the year with that score. In fact, he's not even winning now. Right now, we have Mr. Brune Maniac at 144.5, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to hold.
Yeah. We'll get up to. All right, cool. Let's go over to the next matchup: Straight LA 49ers versus Revolution.
Yeah, it's a close game right here. He did manage to keep it under 100 on the defeat for Straight LA this week. Let's look at the positives. He had Andrew Luck, which accounted for just slightly under half his points. I guess that would be about 47%. Reggie Bush, Ben Tate, it's just... Demaryius Thomas will have better games in the future, right? As will Jordy Nelson. His team's probably better than that. He's got problems of running back there, which I don't think he'll deny. One thing you can talk about, though, in that game is Kansas City, man. The defense, we talked about the offensive line, but that defense is, they lost Derek Johnson. They lost... I can't think of the guy's name, but one of their defensive ends there. They might have some problems. Revolution, that's a revolution. That's an explosion. Matt Ryan, Le'Veon Bell, A.J. Green. It's San Francisco's D. He was smart enough to start him. We'll give it up to Manny there. Not all of us were. So, real nice week, 184.5.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that Dave Rivas made a comment on our podcast last week saying that Angel was the weakest link.
Well, I know we all want to just flush our teams or count our championship winnings after, what was really a pretty dreadful week one of football, all things considered, as week ones tend to be. let's go ahead and let the season play out. Dave's going to win some games.
Oh, sure.
He's got some power at quarterback and at that wide receiver. I think I'm pretty happy I don't have to face him. So things could change next week.
Yep. All right, let's go on to the next matchup. Savs versus Kelly Braves.
Yeah, here's another one of those.
Wow.
Kelly Braves, he lit it up. Calvin Johnson, we'll give him the stud of this game, 50 points. We didn't talk about him earlier went with Marshawn Lynch in the other conference. Calvin Johnson's the guy I've been saying for, I think, at least this third year now. Calvin Johnson's the best player in the NFL, and it's unstoppable. The Giants are no match. It's just 50 points. Calvin Johnson did what Calvin Johnson should have done, and, he just piled it on from there. Nice game. No Sean Moreno. Where did that come from, huh?
Yeah.
Apparently he did his homework and realized that No Sean put up 225 yards against New England last year and came in with what? It was about 130-something this week, so he kind of choked in all reality there, but
or maybe he's a Dolphin fan and just decided just to pick up a Dolphin player.
Well, he is a Dolphins fan, but let's look at a guy in this game. We give him a putt of the week, though. We'll keep it on Kelly Braves there. Doug Martin, man.
Doug
God, Tampa Bay looks like a fraud, don't they?
Yeah. I was high on Doug Martin. I was upset. He actually picked up Doug Martin before it got to me the next one, and I was upset about that, so I had to pick up Aaron Foster.
So you're telling me the Kelly Braves actually did you a favor and saved you from yourself in that situation?
He did. He picked up Doug Martin, and so I was forced to pick up Aaron Foster.
Yeah. Well, I don't like Aaron Foster in the longevity department here this year. Maybe he makes it through, but yeah. So you're telling me you could have Doug Martin, Toby Gerhardt, Ben Tate, and Sankey there? Wow, man, that would have been a powerhouse, Sam. If only one can dream. Savs, man, let's get back to him. This is, hey, you know what? It's that Charles thing. God, I hope he's not worth 2 points too often. That could be that's going to create a long season right there.
And Jimmy Graham didn't do his dunks.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham will be fine, though. Give him time.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Graham and Vincent Jackson, in all reality, are the least of his worries. Maybe a little bit with Jackson. Let's see if that quarterback from Chicago last year. What's his name, Sam?
Is it Jay Cutler?
No. The guy that played last year with him.
Tampa. Just do my tongue. Josh something?
Maybe that says it all right.
Yeah,
there.
you can't remember his name.
The guy hadn't had much of a career up to that point. Now he's your starter down there. Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. Hopefully for Savs things work out a little bit better. But he's got some guys in some questionable situations. Zach Stacy, the injury. Jamal Charles with the train wreck that is the Kansas City Chiefs. Cam Newton, a few guys around there he could struggle with some of these guys. So
yeah,
tough week for Savs there. Good guy though.
Yeah, cool. And Josh McCown. No, I think that's the quarterback's name. Oh, well, whatever. We can't remember.
The answer.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the last matchup, Golden State Heavyweight versus Revis Reaper.
Yeah, a couple handsome gentlemen right here. I'd like to point out that Dave, after about 7 years of discussing it, actually sent me a computerized score sheet over, but haven't had a chance to vet that yet. So Tay, Scott, and Todd, who help out with the scores each week, don't get too excited yet, but I will give Dave an A+ for, persistence and the longevity. I think he might have taken about a 3-year break from it, but we'll see. Kind of came out of the blue. Either way, we love Big Colvin. Unfortunately, Big Colvin lost by a half point this week. If Todd was vetting it last I saw, it looked okay to me last night. Scotty scored it, so, it's... So we'll see how that comes out for him. But, it's a tough game. But in all reality, we could say it's the game of the week, but it's 105.5 to 105.
That is crazy to lose by half a point. Wow.
Yeah, that's I'd like to say it's a new defense, but I don't think it is. I'm trying to figure out why he's got a a 3-something-3 here for Patterson. I hope now that didn't score. Okay, so a little brain fart aside there, gentlemen. Yeah, well, he lost by a half point. It's sucks for him.
Yeah.
And there were effectively no studs or PUDs in this game whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I was going to say Brown.
I can find one here. Victor Cruz. When the hell's the last time he salsa danced?
Can you put it all on Eli? I don't know. You know,
who was Victor Cruz before that 1 year where he's playing for a contract? I mean, this guy is about as significant as.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, you know, I can't think of anything clever. He's just a one-hit wonder.
You know, I think that's what happens when you know, your contract year versus, you know, right after you get that big contract. But J.J. Watt, look what a beast he was last week after he signed that big contract. You know what I mean? So it could be different people. You know.
The difference being J.J. Watt's a stud. Victor Cruz is, now I've got one. Victor Cruz is the NFL equivalent of Kaja Gugu. He's been too shy to the end zone. Oh, please sue me for that bad joke.
I must say.
One-hit wonder.
One-hit wonder. There we go. Now, it comes all together. Great. Awesome. And like we said before, we won't go into predictions too much until later on in the season when matchup means a lot more to everybody. But no, that was a great first week, Rob. You know, everybody's scrambling to make some moves. I'm sure. You know, I am. You know, it's going to be scrambling to make some moves.
What? You looking at some running backs, maybe?
Gots to, man. You know, Tate's not going to do anything for me for a little bit.
Well, hold tight. Ray Rice might be available come week 12 for the who knows? Yeah.
Well, Bruin. You know, I'm sure Bruin's going to drop him.
Well, yeah, I think it's pretty much a guarantee that if the guy's not playing in the NFL and go ahead and probably a smart move to go ahead and drop him. I wouldn't carry him hoping for the best there. You know?
Yeah, awesome. So do you have a tally of what do you think the studs of the week is and the PUDs of the week? Studs of the week.
We talked a lot about the overall stud of the week. Yeah, I'm still going to come back to Marshawn Lynch, man. I ragged on the old guys quite a bit last week, and I still think as the season wears on, you're going to see a sea change there. Mm-hmm. But for 1 week, outside of Larry Fitzgerald, a lot of these guys we kind of dragged down were really kind of had nice games there. I was impressed, man. The guy, I mean, not only was he looked faster, he looked stronger. So, and God, that Seattle offense looks pretty good. That Seattle team looks pretty good.
Yeah,
they have a pretty good shot at repeating that.
Yeah, they're not game managing anymore. It looks like they're just attacking, you know. So.
Well, I've come to the conclusion here, not giving anything away, but whoever's playing me this week, Keenan Allen won't be playing. I am not starting my guys against Seattle anymore. It's just it's a losing proposition. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you who I am starting my guys against, even though I didn't do it this week, would be my PUD of the week. Tony Romo on the Dallas Cowboys. Jesus Christ. Tony Romo, you know, we've all said for years, yeah, he's a good fantasy quarterback. You know, I don't think so, because you know what? Tony Romo is so bad that he brings everybody on both sides of the ball down around him. That's a game that should have theoretically been a shootout. I flexed Kaepernick out there, and you know, San Francisco never even really had to bother to do anything on offense. It just nothing. Des Bryant was nowhere, and the coaching staff. I mean, if I have DeMarco Murray, I'm kicking myself. I mean, you got a situation there. It's 2nd and 1 on the 2, and you know they figure the best play to call is a freaking play action. You know, and of course, which ended predictably with Tony Romo laying in the ground. And, you know, they did it again a little bit later, I think, from the 4-yard line and, you know, called a great pass. That's a gutless team. He's just a horrible player.
Yeah.
And while he might get you some bullshit points periodically, I mean, all things considered, Tony Romo, talent ceiling about 10 years ago, the guy's a fuck-up. So he's just an awful player, and that's an awful team. And I have a pretty good feeling this year that things are going to go completely sideways on them. And by the end of the year, you might be seeing the beginnings of a major turnover there. And I can't imagine Des Bryant's going to want to sit around. That team literally has nothing going for it.
It's a contract year for Des Bryant, so we'll see how that plays out too.
Well, good. He can go sign just about anywhere but Dallas because it's a mess. It really is. That was, even by Tony Romo standards, that was just an awful, awful performance. And you know what's so funny about it? We talked about that 2nd and 1 on the 2. Again, 2nd and 1 on the 2, and you call play action. This is genius stuff here. I think I said in my football pool newsletter, he's a genius because he can beat Jerry Jones at Yahtzee. I don't understand. So it just, the irony here is DeMarco Murray was tearing the field up. San Francisco, the defense might have some problems, but not that game.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for that. We have just a few seconds left. So get your waiver wires in tonight and Thursday starters in by 4 p.m. tomorrow, guys.
That is correct.
And thank you very much, Rob, again. It's always a pleasure. Hopefully you can put up more points next week since you're not playing me anymore. Well, not next week anyways. But for Rob Green, I am Sam. And thank you very much, guys. Good luck next week. Bye.
Thanks, Sam.
Bye.
Thanks, Sam.